program, we don't just say no, we have invited two guests, apart from our own resident guests, speakers. These two guest speakers will be, one is from Taylor's University, a senior lecturer, Dr. Nora, as she is fondly called. I will introduce her in little detail when she comes. I don't think she's here yet. And oh, hi, Dr. Nora, welcome. Thank you. And the other is Dr. Rosli Azad Khan, a traffic planning consultant. Very interesting point is Dr. Rosli was the one who wrote the independent traffic impact assessment report back in 2014 on KIDEX. And maybe that was one of the reasons why KIDEX was cancelled, because he didn't write favorably about the KIDEX highway back at that time. I don't think he did. Okay, I've got a few people to thank. First off, YB Jamaliah. Okay, we understand YB Gobind Singh is sending his political secretary Mandip Singh, and I don't think he's here yet. What about Puan Maria Chin's son? Are you here? Hi. Welcome. Please come to the front. Yeah. Puan Maria Chin, when she was the Ahli Parliament for P105 in Petaling Jaya, was very, very supportive. In fact, many of our communication groups and activities were really initiated by her. So we'd like to thank your mom. What about Jeffrey Pang from MyPJ? Are you here? Okay, Mandip just walked in. Mandip, please be seated at the front. I think Jeffrey Pang is not here also. Okay, I would also like to thank members of the press if you're here to cover this event. Many generous sponsors and contributors, because this is really a people's event. So we have generous contributions from various sectors and individuals. Thank you to all of you. Of course, the residents, yourselves, give yourselves an applause for being so supportive of this initiative. It is really a morale booster. You know, every time someone sends me a note and say I'm donating this amount, and I tell them more than the money, it is a morale booster. It is the kind of fuel, the oil that really pushes on. Thank you. And anybody from the PJ commercial entities? Hi John. Maybe some of the others are on their way. And last but not least, the organizing team. They are a very small team of people, and then it grew to include maybe up to the 20 this morning to hang up banners and so on and so forth. And we did it in a very short time frame, and I also like to please hear your applause for this organizing team. Thank you. Okay, on the program, I won't go into details because my co-MC, co-moderator Melvin from Damansara Jaya, he will be introducing the speakers, and as I said, apart from Dr. Rosli and Dr. Nora, there will be other speakers from among ourselves on various topics. Some are about no PJD Link, why we are against it, and some are a little bit more general topics on climate change and so on and so forth. I'd like to give you a brief more floor layout description. In the center there are mics. Later on we want to focus on, this is a people's session. So we try to limit 8 minutes, maybe 10 minutes for each speaker, and we want to reserve a lot of time for you all. Please come forward, ask your questions, share your views about this highway. Even if you are for the highway, we would like to hear you come forward and tell us why you are supporting the highway. Welcome, Nalina. Melvin just brought my attention to your presence. You are the YV Gobind's assistant and also a counselor, right? Okay. Thanks for coming. Yeah, I was back to the hall discussion. I think there are lots of fire exits you see all around. The doors are all open. We have water dispensers right at the back. The reason for paying money to rent this water dispenser because some members of the organizing team, they're really green people, say no plastic bottles. Okay, so they shot their proposal down and it becomes like served in paper cups, I understand. Also, there are some QR codes. Look, where are they? Okay, there are QR codes for you, basically to go home with after this event, and we asked ourselves, what do you take home with after this event, after you hear some of us speak and share our views with you. So there are QR codes that access to the Say No to PJD Link website, to their Facebook page, and also to a current people's survey, a social survey that we are running in parallel. There's an English version, there's a Malay version. So feel free to scan this code and help us to submit the polls or access the website. We are also, I understand, streamed live on Facebook now. Dom and Binti are our video team. Okay, it is in the Say No to PJD website that is being streamed. Facebook, yeah. Okay, finally, before I introduce our first speaker, if you don't mind, I'd like you to put your phones maybe on silent mode or even switch them off if you wish. So moving on, the first speaker from among us, his name is Loke from Section 17. And the reason he's the first speaker is because he was the one who mooted the idea of having this town hall meeting. And then some of us quickly responded positively, and that's how, I think it's like a 2 weeks time frame we put this together. Yeah, so can you please put your hands together and welcome our friend Loke.
Morning. Thank you everyone for coming, distinguished guests. Okay, I've been asked to give a brief run-through about how this town hall meeting came about. All right. Basically, it's very simple. We are residents. All of us have our own history as far as PJ is concerned. I was born in PJ. I went to school in PJ. I've been here for about 50 over years. I'm quite sure all of you have your own unique history about our town, our city. All right. This town hall meeting came about is because we felt that no one is listening to us. All right. KDEX was cancelled, but in 2018, we hear it's back again. It was approved by the federal government in principle, and then subsequently it was also approved by the Serino MTES or whatever committee. All right. I thought it made it clear that we didn't want KDEX, but here we are still facing the same thing under a different name. All right. So this town hall meeting is to give an opportunity for all of us here, be it whether you are pro or against the highway, it's a chance for you to voice out. All right. What else? All right. So how many of you are neutral about the highway? Can I have a show of hands? Neutral. How many are against the highway? Wow. Okay. How many are for the highway? Oh, okay. For those who are neutral, I hope today you will gain something from the panel of experts, residents who are coming up to share their opinions on this, and you make your own informed decision about this highway. All right? For me, it's pretty simple. I did a simple cost and benefit analysis on one side, I look at all the costs, things like social impact, environmental impact, and property acquisition, loss of value, and all that. How does it affect all of us? All right. On the benefits, all right. I have to be honest. There are benefits for the highway. This information was from Rajiv's speech in the Dewan Selangor. The figures that we have is that this highway will improve the traffic from Puchong to PJ by 2.6%, right? And within PJ alone by 1.3%. All right. Okay, these are the benefits. But bear in mind, that study was done for the KDEX, which was in 2015. We are now 8 years later. All right. The population of PJ has grown since then. The amount of traffic has also grown. All right. So I'm not sure what the new traffic impact study will show, whether it be more or less than that 2.6 and 1.3%. But I think you all can figure it out or make a guess. Number of cars have increased. The highway is more or less the same design, same 2 lanes. You got an increase in car traffic and fixed constants, all right? Same highway, same number of lanes. I think you can figure out whether that 2.6% would be better or the figure would be better than 2.6 or less. Okay, I think I said enough, all right? So I hope you all can gain something from today's speakers. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Loke. Okay, hi, good morning. My name is Melvin. I'm from Jaya and also from Say No to PJD Link Group. I would like to thank YB Jamaliah and YB Gobind's team to take the time and come this morning. I would like to invite YB Jamaliah up to stage to give a short speech. Thank you. Oh yeah, it was my birthday this week.
Oh, happy birthday! Thank you.
Happy birthday to you.
Then you will get my birthday party even. Assalamualaikum and good morning everyone. I'm Jamaliah, the state executive person for Bandar Utama. So actually this is also one of my areas. So first of all, thank you so much for inviting me, and I believe that actually this event organizers have invited many people. I see the list is about 1 page or 2 pages long. So I know that most of the members that are concerned about PJD Link, the members of the community, especially the residents, probably today will be the gathered point. That's why I try my best to be here, although that actually since yesterday until today it is actually also our party's retreat. So I believe some of the leaders might need to be there. But I did tell Melvin that I will do my very best to be here with everyone, and I will spend at least until before 11 to just listen to people's voice, listen to what's the opinions, feedback, and also from the professionals that have been mentioned just now. Now, just a little bit, probably update from our side. Actually, my office don't really engage with PJD Link, so we do also have many information about PJD Link, because I also don't want, previously I have many engagement with the residents in this state, and they feel uncomfortable for our office to engage with PJD Link me. Therefore, I engaged with Melvin's group as well several times, I believe. And my office also have sent letters and also try to engage with ESCO and MD. So previously, Gobind also updated me that he will help, and probably later Monday will update us with the status as well. And as a state assembly person, I mean, as Abdul, it's very obvious that, of course, firstly, we have to be very neutral, because that is our task as policymakers to be neutral. But at the same time, also very importantly, that I am the state assembly person for Perekabandar Utama. We need to say that the priority that we will be focusing on will be the welfare and the benefits of the people of Perekabandar Utama, which definitely includes people from Damansara K, Damansara Jaya, Damansara Utama, Bandar Utama, and so on. Of course, we did not have the opportunity to engage with every and each one here, but definitely our office never tried to shy away, or we never stopped engaging with the community or associations or RIRT. So today I just want to put my stand here that no matter what, as the State Assembly of Bandar Utama, the first priority will always be the people of Bandar Utama. Therefore, I will really love to hear your feedback and opinions, and if there's any opportunity for me to put it out to our state government or local council officially, we will definitely pass on the message of the people of Bandar Utama and Petaling Jaya to our government agency. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you very much, baby. JJ has just walked in the building. Hi, JJ. He is the press secretary. He's the press secretary to the NB. So I would like to invite both of them, Mandi as well as JJ on stage. I'm sorry you just came in and I put you on the spot. Thank you very much. Please come up and just explain what happened with our meeting with the NB on Thursday, was it? Yeah, Wednesday. Thank you very much, Mandi.
Thank you, Melvin. Good morning, selamat pagi kawan-kawan yang hadir pada hari ini. Bagi Jamaliah, ada lagi kawasan bandar utama, Puan Nalina, saudara JJ daripada pejabat Menteri Besar. Firstly, YB Gobind would like to apologize that we can't attend today, as YB Jamaliah mentioned, that the DAP top leadership is having a retreat for the state election. We started yesterday and I think will end by late evening today. So as Melvin mentioned earlier about the meeting that took place on the 14th of March, which is 4 days ago at the Parliament building. This meeting was organized by our Damansara MP office, which was attended by Yang Amat Berhormat Menteri Besar Selangor, YB Lee Chen Chong, MP of Petaling Jaya, YB William Leong, MP of Selayang, and I believe there's about 8 or 9 committee members from the PJD Link, or the group, the group that David was there as well. Right. I'm sure that a lot of stories lingering out there, confusion whether it's been approved, not been approved. The state government have gave approval, and etc. So today JJ is here as well, representative of the Menteri Besar office. If there's any clarity later on, any clarification needed, we can probably help to answer. But I think the most important thing that I want to share is in the meeting, Yang Amat Berhormat Menteri Besar Selangor have said very clearly, and there is witness, Melvin and David and friends who were there as well, that there is no approval has been given to build PJD Link. The only approval that the state government have given is, number one, to conduct FDG, focus group discussion, by the company with the residents of this area or the residents that will be affected, to conduct focus group discussion, number one. Number two is to do survey with the residents or the surrounding people of whoever will be affected by this highway. So there's only two approval have been given for the company to do. I'm not sure the time frame that been given to them, but it's only two. No other approval have been given for PJD Link. Correct, right? I mean, you can clarify, right? Yes? Yeah. So it's only two. Other than that, there's a lot of, stories out there that the state government have approved for construction, etc., etc. YB Gobind stand remain as what he has said on 2nd September 2021. A statement that I believe if you Google, a statement was released by YB Gobind Singh, Yang Amat Berhormat Menteri Besar Negeri Selangor, and YB Isham. The three PH leaders of Selangor have issued a statement on 2nd September 2021, and that stand remain for us. Nothing have changed. And just to add a bit more, where the Menteri Besar have also made very clear that if this highway going to be something similar to KIDEX, is definitely a no-go. That is what has been discussed until 14th of March at the Parliament building, and in that particular meeting as well, the Menteri Besar office have offered that they will organize another round of discussion or meeting, inviting the resident associations, stakeholders from Parliament office, Adun office, councillors, etc., together with the company. So this meeting is Menteri Besar asked a timeline for 2 to 3 weeks, but plus minus with Ramadan coming and Hari Raya, I think probably plus minus will be held in 1 month time. Since the meeting, the photos came out on social media, there are other groups who also oppose PJD Link, a coalition, or I believe there are many other groups who have the same intention, but probably not under one umbrella. They also have reached out to me. They want to participate in the meeting. For sure, we will invite, or we will try to accommodate as many people as possible to join the meeting that will be held very soon. And after we get that outcome from the meeting, we at the Parliament office, the Menteri Besar office, and I think I'm sure YB Jamaliah office, we will share the information to all the residents of this area or the residents that will be affected from the PJD Link. I will stop here to share. I think this is what I have to share from the meeting. And if there's any, I'm here so to hear from all of you, your recommendation, your concern, that which I can bring back to YB Gobind, and of course JJ is here, he will bring back to his boss, Menteri Besar Selangor. Thank you.
Thank you, Abdul. So we can have our questions and answers later on, but JJ will answer them for you. We'd like to also thank GT Tan for coming. Hi GT. Okay, next I would like to introduce James Tan. He's the senior valuer, he is speaking on how urban highways impact on property values, tenant occupancy rates, and other ripple effects. We invite James Tan on stage, please.
Here. Yep. I need the flick. Yeah. Yep. Where's the flick? Where's the flick? Flicker. Right. Give me the flicker. Give me the flicker. Do I need? How?
So you point there.
Yes. Stop.
Point there. Okay. Okay. So yeah.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'd like to thank Melvin and the group for inviting me to come and share some of my views about the impact of this highway on the property values and many other issues. First, what's happening? Okay, some technical issues. Okay, I'm sure when you come in, you all have got a copy of the notes, right? Well, that actually basically sums up a lot about what I have to say, and let's go look at it. A bit of background on myself. I'm a registered valuer. I've been in the real estate industry for more than 30 years, and I do a lot of research, and I put out articles in the press over different social issues as well as issues that affect the public. Come, let's go and see, because I have got not much time, let's go and see what's happening today. Sorry about the technical issues. Okay, basically this is what's actually happening. Okay, this highway is going to link from the spring all the way down to Kinrara side. Okay, so this is another picture. So we know roughly that it will go through the established residential area and commercial area. Just for information, I live in PJ. I born in PJ. I used to stay in Parma Garden and SS2, Damasraya was all rubber estate in the 1970s. Okay, so we know where this highway is about. Okay, so now next. Okay, now I think something is wrong with this. Before backtrack, I think the what you call the projector will bring back a bit to actually see the whole slide. Someone can bring the projector back, because what I'm going to show you is better. Okay. Make it
it's the words at the right hand side.
Yep.
We're gonna do it.
Sorry about the technical issue. Too far.
It's okay, guys. We have to take a few moments to settle this technical issue. We'll go inside and have some solve.
Is it okay? I need the slide. I need the slide. Melvin. Okay, back. Sorry about that. I think, never mind, I just do with what I have. Okay. Okay, next. Okay, basically what happened is that this highway will impact the property values, will impact in a very, very negative manner. Next, Justin, next, you control for me. Okay, so I got my staff to take some picture. So this is SS2, okay, go on. And I got some information from my statistics from my database. You see, what I did was that, to be fair to both sides, to see a real picture, I took those houses, the values of those houses that were transacted, that were away from the highway, okay? These are the actual 900,000, okay? Next. And then those that are facing the LDB, you know where along the LDB, the whole stretch of LDB, the drop in value is substantial. The front row and the back one is about 30%. So this is not what I say, but from the statistics that I analyzed, that there was a drop in value from the front one to the back one. At the back, which is not really affected by the highway, is about 900,000, but the one facing the highway or one or two rows in front, you drop about 30%. Next, that's it. Next. So this one, this is another one in the max. This is another in Sri Petaling there. The highway was here. Those terrace houses here, which is actually quite close to it. When you see later, the speaker will show you that the highway, you cut through very near the houses, and the drop in value is quite substantial, also around 30 to 40%. So basically what I'm trying to say as a value when I do this market observation is that this highway will cause the value of the properties along the highway to drop significantly, at least, if not 20%, to be up to 30 to 40%. Okay? Next. So this is the actual statistics. Prices that were transacted are properties that located along the highway and those one or two rows behind. So street Petaling. So even for shop houses, so for those owners of commercial properties along the highway, along this highway, and then this what we call Klang Highway, okay. I got my staff to take a picture. I also went to see Jalan Camp. They connect from this Kesas to the North Port. You see this? Next, just see. Can you imagine if your property, your commercial property, your shop house, especially the Jalan Professor Cookie Kim and along the whole stretch up to Kinrara, those commercial properties, can you imagine having a highway with this sort of effect? The drop in value, backtrack, back, just in. Based on statistics, about 31%. Okay? So that's what I'm saying is that we don't need this highway. When I did the statistics, this is just some of the areas, the drop in value is very significant. So imagine you're having your properties along the highway or around it, there is dust and noise pollution, and that's why it affects the value in quite a significant manner. Okay, so now this picture was taken back. So in Port Klang, the values drop quite significantly. Next, okay, because I can't control this, because sometimes it works, sometimes yeah. Okay, this could take place if PJD Link is completed. I took this picture yesterday to show you all how this monstrosity that we don't want can affect you guys. So this is actually Dash Highway in Damansara Perdana. Can you imagine this? According to them, when I attended the meeting with them, the distance from the highway to the property is about 14-15 meters. And you can see this, what's the distance? It is actually quite near, no? So it will affect it quite significantly next. So imagine whether it is your commercial property or your residential property or your condo for the matter. Along from the Spring Highway go down to Puchong, there's quite a number of condominiums and even like the V Square, the Plaza 33, Jaya 33, and the whole stretch, even the Q Building, the Lisa Yin and SS2 Hub, Propaganda Mill, a lot more along there. It is going to be something like that. Can you imagine? I ask you this question, ladies and gentlemen. Would you all want to do business here? Or would you all want to stay around here? And even we noticed that there is quite a number of properties that vacancy. Next. You see this? This is what can happen, likely to happen, should this thing comes to be constructed. Okay, next. So you see this. It really affects the value of the properties now. If I'm a business owner, why would I rent this? Okay, next. So what we found out was that we estimate this is our estimate. This is based on my observation over the years in the market. The market value could drop anything between 20 to 30%. Okay, the occupancy rate will drop. Who would want to stay and do business in this sort of area? And the rental rates will definitely drop. Okay, next. And besides what you call affecting the market value, okay, because environmental degradation, health hazards. Would you want to live next to the highway when you have got constant noise and dust pollution? It causes respiratory diseases and so forth. Next. And business volumes will be down. Those businesses that are occupying in those buildings, they say if it's next to the highway, I do not want to be there. So what will happen? There will be a chain reaction. The owners will lose, they will suffer huge losses. And imagine, let's say the one building, the tenants were to move out. The owners, the livelihood, many people will suffer because of that and threaten the livelihood of the workforce. Next. So there's actually a ripple side effect. Some abandoned sectors in PJ loss of assessment, and you see what happens is that if a building in a PJ or along this stretch, there's no tenant, what will happen? Because the building owners have to remember that they have to pay assessment. So when they pay assessment, and then when the building becomes vacant, okay, the local authorities cannot collect so much assessment. So when they don't have so much revenue, the chain effect is that they cannot contribute to the residents' bank because they collect assessment for what? To provide services for you all. So as a result, with this chain reaction will have the impact that ultimately the residents will suffer because not just from a livelihood point of view, from the loss of job and unemployment and so forth, but also the services that is provided by the local authorities will be reduced because of the reduction in the assessment that is being collected. Okay, next. And so basically what I'm trying to say is that as a professional from my market observation, the drop in values will affect the loan portfolio of the financial institutions. Let's say the banks were to have loaned out the money for these people who bought the properties. What will happen? The drop in value. I estimated that I got myself to work out the figures from the one end of the highway to the other end. The drop in value of those properties along the highway come to more than $1 billion. Imagine 190. That is assuming that these properties are not even quiet, because those properties along the whole stretch of this highway, who would want to buy? Let's say those development lands along that parcel, who would want to buy the properties? And those along those lands that they are going to do some proposed development, and because of this highway, the sales rate cannot take place. You have a lower sales rate. As a result of it, what will happen? So they cannot proceed, they cannot do a comprehensive development and generate sort of profits, and the values will actually drop significantly. So it would have a chain reaction to it. So the alignment of the highway will affect the content of the proposed development and of the lands around the highway. They were saying that they do a survey of 50 meters, but actually when I did some research, the noise pollution actually affect not just 50 meters, you affect quite significantly, at least 100 meters. So the impact of this highway for property values, the owners is significant. You just got to conclude. Okay, then I will just conclude here. Next. So basically the summary is this, okay. The market value occupancy rate will likely to drop this amount. Health, noise pollution, dust pollution, business affected, environmental degradation, and occupancy rate, the whole lot. So this is what my finding. Okay, that's about it. Melvin, I'd like to thank you for this. Maybe those of you all who what you call later want to come and see me, then we can discuss further about my observation. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you everyone. James.
So that you know what's coming on, especially for our providing guest speakers, Dr. Rosli and Dr. Thank you so much. Nora. Thank you. Can I call you Dr. Nora? Okay. We're going to have our friend from Damansara Jaya, who is an architect. Melvin will give the detailed introduction. His name is Justin Lee. He will present and then followed by me. And then after that, I would like to invite both of you in whichever order in our program. It's actually Dr. Ungku Norani, Dr. Nora first, and then Dr. Rosli. Is that okay? Yeah, okay. So, over back to you,
Sounds good. This next guy actually don't need much introduction, but he is Justin Lee. He is any diagram that you see in highways that have been built, that's right by on our website. He is an educator at UCSI, University Architect, and founder of Bike Commute Malaysia.
If I speak here, okay?
For low carbon mobility and cityscapes. Justin?
Yep. Okay, I think I'll just present from here. So I can use this as a clicker because the clicker is not really working properly. So I have 10 minutes. You got a timer for me, right? Okay, so got 10 minutes. But I have a lot of slides, so I will flash through them very quickly. That's why I'm using the clicker. So I think the highway developers, right, when you're proposing the highway and when they all engage you guys, they show plans. But I don't think many people sort of understand how the highway will look like. So this is where I come in to sort of. Okay. So I've been helping PJD Link, right? So say no to PJD Link to sort of visualize, how the highway will look like. So you guys are more informed, So for example, over here we start off this image over here at Damansara Jaya, and I think the highway plans, right, is always changing. So from the last FDG, but this is based on this one over here. Is based on the it's the plans that's sort of like approved. I think that's what they have on contract at the moment. But it's subjected to change. So at this area over here, Damansara Jaya, it sort of comes in to the school, and there's this ramp, right? That there's an egress ramp, that stops outside the school, and so it will create traffic problems over here, similar to the other highways that has been recently been built. So right in front of the school over here, and people, if they want to turn right, there's an issue over there. Okay, so this is based on, so the images that I've done, right, it's not, so it's sort of my interpretation of how the highway will look like based on the plans that was done by the engineers. And they have sections and things like that, so I just extruded with the 3D model to sort of produce some of these images. And I'll go through them quite quickly. This one is on the Sprint Highway, SMDJ school, right, is here, and this is the ramp going in. This is sort of where we are at right now, at this site over here. So the highway, this one you ramp down, then over here, you go on top over here. So I'll just go through this quickly because there's a lot to show. This is Damansara Jaya. and Uptown is on the left. This is Jalan Harapan, so it will affect these houses over here. But this, then there's, but I don't think it's double-decker anymore. It's no longer double-decker. These images were made last year, and since then, the highway design has changed since then. So it's no longer double-decker. However, the toll is still here. Yeah, so you see, you notice over there, the lane widens, right, to get a toll over here. This is Jalan Professor Khoo Kay Kim, and in front of Jaya Shopping Center, Jaya 33, there's this highway. So there's a ramp to the right side of the image there, and from the north, right, coming down south, that's this highway like that. On the left is is it Sri Petaling School? Sri Petaling School, right? SK Sri Petaling on the left over there. So this SK Sri Petaling, and over here is Bukit Bintang Boys School. Yeah, so this is based on their highway plans. So this is where the toll comes in on plan. But in 3D, we took a drone shot. Yeah, this is Bukit Bintang Boys Secondary Boys School. There's Gurdwara here, and there's Gita Ashram over here. So actually the highway, and there's Brickfields Asia College, Padang Astaka, and the highway will just go over all this, and it will claim like 2 acres of around 2 acres, and a hall from Bukit Bintang School. Yeah. Then a bit more from the ground view at Jaya Shopping Center. Okay, so I think I'm going to talk about induced. Can see not? Can we do that view, that mode again?
Full screen or what?
Just now,
Yeah,
when you,
okay.
how you do that? So induced demand, right, is a concept. So you see on the left over here, right, this is a highway in LA. So over the years, right, highway, the lanes, right, they keep widening it. However, traffic jams still happen. So it's about I think KL, I think our sort of this cycle of building highways. So we have been building highways for the past 30 years. LDP used to be not so jammed, but over the years it gets, congested. Yeah. Over the past 30 years we've been building highways, and we noticed till today it's more jammed than ever. There's more car use. So that's what induced demand is about. You provide more highways, and it induces people to, it's easier to drive, so people will drive more. They buy, the sales of cars increases, and after that vehicle ownership increases, and after that you get more traffic jams because cars takes out a big real estate, So takes up a big real estate, right? And it takes up a lot of space. So even with highways, right, they're going to add 2 lanes, yeah? They're going to add 2 lanes one way and 2 lanes coming back. However, over time, right, yeah, during our FDGs when we were speaking to them, they also project that the highway would also fill up in the next 5 to 10 years. So what are you going to do after 10 years? Build more highway again? Is that the solution? Because so the reason why the highway is proposed, also speaking with the work minister, speaking with the highway developers, is so that traffic is reduced. However, this is what your forecast is. You think that traffic will sort of reduce on this curve, but in actuality, it goes up because there's more people using highways. There are more car ownership over the years. And the other reason is also because you get this problem of bottleneck. You build a multi-lane highway, but when it comes to the city, when you're coming into SS2, when you're coming into Uptown, right, it jams because it turns into 1 lane. Yeah? But so we are thinking, we want to widen highways, right? We want to add more lanes. But the solution is to, reduce the number of cars on the road. Yeah, so this is our trend at the moment, 1998. We got this highway, 2003. This is at Mutiara Damansara. This is like the dash highway. Yeah, and 2015 until now, right? So we get this trend of, you know, our city being dominated by highways. Yeah, and you know, they are, you know, with the PJD Link as well, right? They are going over a few flyovers, going over like MRT, LRT station, LRT lines. So you know the structures can be quite large, similar to you know the Silk and Duke highways. So MPPJ has a goal, right, to reduce. One more minute. To reduce greenhouse gases by 30%. You know, we want to be a low carbon city by 2030. So is it business as usual, or you know, or business as usual, or do we want a low carbon city? Yeah. So there's more highways solve traffic. So it doesn't resolve traffic according to some articles, right? Yeah, from Free Malaysia Today, BFM. The articles also, so it's not said by me, but the articles also show that highways in the cities won't ease traffic, and including our previous road minister and current DPM, right, also in this article says that there is no guarantee that highways would reduce traffic. Yeah, so do we really need more highways? So compared to KL, right, from Klang to Cheras is 40 kilometers. Singapore, from one side to Singapore to the other side of Singapore is also 40 kilometers. However, the population and UK, the distance from north and south is different, but I mean, it's just to get you an idea that, for example, the Klang Valley is 8.4 million, the population, Singapore is 5.7. However, our trend of urban design is that we have more highways, but in Singapore, you have spaces for other modes of transportation, like public transport, cycling, micro-mobility, and so on. I have to stop already. Okay, maybe I continue later because there's an opportunity maybe to continue later. But okay, I'll move on to the next speaker first. Okay, thanks.
Thanks, this next speaker definitely will be happy.
Follow my slides. Okay. Follow my slides.
Yoong. So here is speaking to us about the flaws of the proposed PJD Link design, the difficult constructability due to close proximity to existing buildings and traffic on local road. I think we will let you speak and don't have to take much time from you guys. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you, Melvin. Thank you, everyone. I also have time limitations, so I may have to rush those who have questions. Because my stuff is a little bit technical, but I'll try and make it easy for laypersons to understand. If you have questions, feel free to ask me later on during Q&A time. And first of all, for those who are neutral, just now you put up your hands. Thank you for coming. I hope after I point out the specific flaws of the design and the function of the highway, then you may be more informed to make a proper decision. So, as Melvin said, I'm going to be talking about the design and construction issues, which is suddenly it works overtime. Yeah, which is about poor connectivity. I'll show you that the highway really doesn't connect into many places, not as claimed in the website of PJD Link. It is a very toll-centric highway. I'll show you why. And it's also very difficult to construct because obviously it's so close to adjacent buildings and it's also so close to our daily traffic. Okay, I don't need to go through because some of the speakers have told you already and everybody knows it starts from Bandar Utama Springs. And as Justin says, we have been meeting PJD Link. In fact, on Thursday, 2 nights ago, we actually met Amrish, the CEO of PJD Link. And the presentation given to us is that everything is in a very fluid state. The design keeps morphing to use their term is optimization, but I'll let you decide whether it is or not. So anyway, based on what we understood, it starts from Lobo Bandar Utama and sprint after the Damansara toll, turns down the Harapan, comes through Jalan Professor Kuke Kim, Jalan Sultan, and then Jalan Penchala and head towards the south. I'm sorry for Janaraj and the guys from Kinrara because I only study in detail PJ, but it's the same story beyond that, okay? Okay, I'll go straight into the enlarged segments. This is where you get up Lobo Bandar Utama, or you can ram up after the Damansara toll. Now you notice that it comes this way down the sprint. The crosses are to indicate to you there's no direct connection. It is not as if you can get through this daily jam. I agree, there is a lot of traffic in peak hours. It's not as if you can climb up and find yourself able to turn left into LDP to head towards Bandar Sri Damansara, or to turn right to head towards Kelana Jaya and the cabling bridge and beyond. No connections. And same thing here, you turn Jalan Harapan, there's a ramp up here, Jalan 1611, which is near to the eastern buildings, already very jammed because this is the one that avoid the tolls. So they're building the ramp here and it comes up and it, okay, let's ignore this one because this is a northbound, this is southbound, this is going towards Kinrara, okay? And there is another ramp up here in front of Sinchu Daily. Okay, next slide. The story is repeated. You have a ramp up here, as I say, Sinchu Daily, and then you run down Jalan Professor Kuke Kim. There's another one which I think just now Justin showed you in 3D. This is in the median of Jalan Kemajuan, swing over the field of SK Sri Petaling, and then knock into 2 acres of the Bukit Pindang Boys School land taken away, and including their squash hall being demolished. And this is the southbound toll. Okay, so you realize from the beginning just now, if you were to get up here, no way to get down. You get up here, no way to get down. Yeah, same thing here. You get up at Sinchu Daily, you get up at Jalan Kemajuan, no way to get down until you pay toll. That's why I call this a very toll-centric highway. Alright, I like to, if you don't mind me, I like to tell you, I'm always reminded of a popular song. I'll paraphrase it to something like that. You can get up anytime you like, but you can never leave. You know what song is that, right? You can never leave until you pay tolls, okay? And I joked with Amrish the other day. You see this highway passing by Harapan, passing by Professor Kuke Kim, but it doesn't get you down there. It's not as if the highway will bring shoppers down to give more business to Plaza Victory or Jaya Shopping Center. No, it doesn't. Same thing with Harapan. There are a lot of eateries there. It doesn't. It only gets you down where? Federal Highway. I'll come back to this a little bit more. But my joke with Amrish was this. In the old days, you know, if you know, in Mandarin is 良善好汉. In the English fables, you'll be Robin Hood. You know, the rich pass by with your carriage and your horses, and then Robin Hood and his men will stop them and take money. You know, in Mandarin it's called 留下过路钱. It means you leave your money behind. I told Amrish, you are not leaving money behind for the business owners and the building owners. You are taking the money because of your toll charges. Okay, so that's how it is. Now back to the first exit you see here, down the Federal Highway. I told PJD Link's traffic consultant, right now I can go by Jalan Professor Diraja Ungku Aziz, which is Jalan University, and end up in the downstream of the direction of Federal Highway going towards KL. Or I can go on this Jalan Utara, the one-way loop, and still go towards KL by exiting to Federal Highway. Now who in PJ would want to pay tolls and come up here to exit on the upper stream of the Federal Highway with more jams from this stretch to this stretch and this stretch to that stretch? Nobody in the right mind will do that. You pay toll and you get to the upper stream of a highway that's already very jammed heading towards KL. Okay, so my analysis is to let you know this is a very dysfunctional highway. It doesn't serve the purpose, and later on I have a slide that says I would like to debunk the myth and the disingenuous claims of PJD Link in their website that this will ease congestion in PJ, this will alleviate improve the first and last mile connectivity. Because if you look at some of this now, this is one of the LRT train stations, Taman Jaya and Taman Paramount. I believe this one is Asia Jaya. Okay, I don't know why I didn't write it there. Yeah, it doesn't. Okay. So let me go to the next slide and continue the story. By the way, okay, so this was where we came down Jalan Sultan, and there is a ramp up here on number 6 Jalan Sultan, and it comes down Jalan Penchala, and then again another toll. After paying toll, then this is actually where the landfill location is, and also there's a Ditara residences going on here. So there's a very funny ramp that comes down to NPE. But note again, you can only come down after you pay toll. Okay, no connection to the NPE, no connection to the various train lines here. Okay, northbound is the same story. I won't go into details except that it is the same story. You pay toll, and then you can get down. You get down here is Jalan Barat. It's not directly federal highway. So I told the traffic consultant of PJD Link, this is like a river pouring water into a small stream and then trying to get back into a river again. Definitely here, this red spot is a choke point destination. You will get chaotic jams here, and this is a total reversal of road hierarchy, violating good town planning principles. Okay, it joins to Jalan Barat. And I was given an example of those of you who have traveled on the LDP, past the Sunday toll coming back towards PJ. On the left, there is this Leisure Commerce Square. If any one of you were to go into that lane and try and turn left into the federal highway, day and night it is jammed. Reason, big river going to a small stream, trying to go back to a big river. So the bottleneck is going to be there. And also one more thing of interest here is this, what happened? Can you go back to the previous slide, please? Yeah. Okay, this is the ramp up from NPE. Yeah? Can you imagine they build a toll plaza here? This is called Toll Plaza E. Just like a dragnet, no freeze. You come here, you have to pay toll. This toll is specifically just to catch traffic coming up from NPE. It proves my point. It is a very, very toll-centric highway just to charge tolls, but it doesn't connect people. It is not, I mean, for those who are neutral, I hope you understand now why personally I'm so against. I'm an engineer by training and profession. I was also acting, I'm still actually functioning as a consultant, but semi-retired because I'm old. But really, take my word for it, the functions are not there, okay? Connectivity is not there. Next slide, please. Justin, if you're helping me. Okay, the same story. I won't go into details. It comes back here, then you pay toll here, and after you pay toll, you can get down. Same thing, it goes into green area, the slope. It is confirmed they're going to build a piers in the slope between Jalan Damansara and SS20/10. Okay, the greens will be taken away, and this is again from a river pouring into a stream. And this is the BC junction near to the TDDI MRT and the Pasar Borong a little bit up ahead, and this road is going to be chaotic. And same thing here, SS22/43, they'll come down, the school is here, Damansara Jaya School, and at the FGD last Wednesday, I think the residents were giving up all the reasons why this will not work. And by the way, I also like to mention this, many of the Jalan Kemajuan as well as this one, the piers, the ramps are built in the median. Can you imagine traffic coming down? The median is next to the current fast lane. That's where we have the fast lane, not the slow lane. And you're going to be merging with the fast lane traffic, another kiosk. Okay, next one please. Okay, so I just sum up. It go up, there's no exits until tolls are paid, 1 time or 2 times. It passes by many areas but no exits. Some exits are to local roads, not directly to existing highways. Reversal of road hierarchy violates town planning principles, hotspots, jams. Choke traffic build up at entrance and exit points, especially if they are connected to local roads. The ramps in the medians merge with fast lane traffic. No direct links to public transit stations. All of them, even the MRT, there's no direct link. And geometric design, maybe let me try and go. Okay, this one. In the first design, there were a lot of 90 degrees turn, but this one is reduced to only one of them. 90 degrees turn. So this is very bad geometric design because your braking distance, your sight distance, all have to be controlled. So this will mean they reduce the speed limit, and this doesn't come from me, it comes from the engineers of PJD Link's plans. It says 40 kilometers per hour speed limit. Can you imagine a highway with 40 kilometers per hour speed limit? That's not very much of a highway. They know themselves. And even then, a drunk driver or somebody sleepy, he might be going 80 or 100, and he's going to be flying down to Melvin's house because he's living around there. Okay, talking about medians, this is something I did on Jalan Pencara. It is an existing road this now, and this is my artist's impression of what it will be. Okay? Okay, debunk myths and claims as per PJD Link website will not ease congestion, will not improve the first and last mile connectivity in PJ. Next will be construction issues. Yeah. I'll just very quickly read it out. Heavy construction activities very near existing buildings and daily traffic, jams, kiosks, severe risk of accidents and mishaps, collapsed scaffoldings, falling, flying objects, vibrations and cracks to existing houses, commercial buildings, shopping centers, schools, mosques, clubhouses, also other religious precincts like Gita Ashram and Gurdwara Sahib, which is somewhere in the Astaga grounds. Road damage, mud discharge, flash floods, rubbish and waste disposals, issues, loss of privacy because the workers are going to be working 10 feet away from the windows, and security issues. Okay, people say a picture speaks 1,000 words. I'm going to show you like 10 pictures. This is gas when it was constructed as it passes through Damansara Perdana. Next one, please. Okay, this is how it is. There's a ramp up there. Okay, this is a close-up view. Okay, see how it meanders between the houses. James has already illustrated to you the completed product. I'm showing you what it will be during construction. Okay, this is an actual case again. Dash, flooding. Now, I'll give you a very brief explanation. When you construct something, proper practice is you actually surround the site. Now, this is not often done. That's why you get a lot of, malpractices among contractors and consultants who are sleeping on their jobs. By right, any construction site should be surrounded by earth drains, and then you've got what we call silt traps. So all the muddy water discharged from the site is supposed to run into this silt trap, let the heavy mud and everything sink to the bottom, clear with an excavator every 2 days, and then the clean water will flow up, go through some filtration mediums like stones and whatnot, and then flow out to your drains. A lot of contractors don't do that, and that's why you see all the muddy discharges. In this case, because it's like a linear development, PJD Link will be the same. There's no way to surround it with drains. So where does the muddy water go? The mud comes from, for example, when they're doing the piling, especially with bore pass. You bore a hole in the ground and you pour concrete, put steel bars, you pour concrete. So what they're doing, there's lots of mud. And they'll mix with the rainwater, the water from the ground, and that's what happened. This is actually the case in the main road leading into Damansara Perdana during construction. Next one, please. This is another one. I was told by my friend who lives there, this was a 4 hours jam on that day. This is like erosion very close to where the dash passes by. Okay, these are the few. I only quoted a few. 19 June 2021, 2 injured as concrete slab collapses at the NKVE Sungai Buloh, Kota Damansara. This is basically dash. Okay, you just keep going. These are all the repeated mangled steel. Okay. Oh, sorry, this one I shouldn't be showing. View with discretion. This is Malaysian authorities suspend Kuala Lumpur Highway project after fatal crane incident. It's okay. 23rd March 2021. This is still the same. And you see 23rd March, this is 3rd of April. It's almost 2 weeks, and the authority is saying 1 more week for you to remove the collapsed crane. That means altogether 3 weeks. Imagine the inconvenience to everybody who is commuting daily, either bringing their children to schools, going to buy groceries, just going home. It is going to be a nightmare. Okay, this is the same thing. Back to 2016, EKVE, when EKVE first started, there were some fissures that alarmed residents because their houses started cracking. Okay, I made this. We might encounter this when we take a drive home. Stay out of Petaling Jaya. Okay, fundamental issues. Allow me very quickly. Where is the ticket? Never mind, you just go to the next one. Okay. I summarize it as under 3 categories, but they are all interrelated. Policies. Okay, to start off with, I'm one of the hard-hitting critics of what we call PFI, Private Finance Initiative. It is a scheme started by Mahathir back in 1981. Okay, I think very much fashioned after what Margaret Thatcher was doing in UK. In concept, it is all right. You get private funders to build public infrastructures. But the way we're doing it, and you can Google and find people writing theses commenting on the way Malaysia does private finance initiative. Okay, there's no monitoring, there's no transparency. All the cost information, concessional terms and conditions. What did the latest Ananta Linggi, the works minister, say when he was asked by our YB Lee Chen Chong? He says it's under OSA. It's classified information, cannot disclose. Now, I said this publicly on 18 July when I was interviewed by BFM, and I've also said it to Amrish, I've said it to even the works minister last year, Fadila Yusof. I say that, to be fair, the developer, he's going to, in Chinese, called Pao San Pao Hoi, that means he's going to cover every cost to build this highway and complete it, right, and not be abandoned project. So he would allow contingencies. If he thinks it's going to be 3,000 meters of piling, if I'm the developer, I'll put 10,000 meters. What's there to stop me? Just in case I really have to go that deep. So I allow contingencies. Okay. On top of that, anything that is lacking in transparency, I don't think I need to elaborate a lot more, but I am a strong critic. I have been telling the Works Minister, I've been telling YB Rajiv, please go to Parliament, go to Adun, your Dun, and try and start a movement to get rid of this practice. Okay, government should take the lead. A project like that, it should be preceded by what we call needs studies. Study the traffic, not only by counting the number of cars, but study the distribution pattern. That means you need the RFID. How many people coming through the spring is actually going to Kinrara? No, many of them go forward to Bangsa, Damansara Heights and KL. Some of them turn left, go to Bandar Street, Damansara, turn right in the LDP and go to Kelana Jaya. LDP has got so many exits, SS2, SS4, and so on and so forth, right? So until and unless you do a traffic distribution study to determine that yes, there is such a number of cars that need the direct routes to Klai, to Kinrara and Puchong, otherwise it's all guesswork. And I don't believe it. As an engineer, I don't believe that there are so many cars. Okay, governance, we have the LLM guidelines. If, I think Melvin is very kind to me. I'll just rush through. We have the Town and Country Planning Act. We have the Local Agenda 21, which MPPJ has adopted. MPPJ has launched the Low Carbon City in 2015. There's this SDG or Sustainable Development Goals, and also Malaysia is a signatory to Paris Climate Change Agreement. As Dr. Ong, he's not here today, Dr. Ong of DJROA told the Menteri Besar, we met Menteri Besar on Tuesday, finally after 2 years of trying. Dr. Ong Dr. Ong actually told our Menteri Besar, Dato Sri Amiruddin Syari, he said, let's show this through our actions, not just words. If you want to launch a low carbon city, how can you build a highway, an urban highway through our midst? It is not, it doesn't sing at all. It is totally incongruous. And of course the last is enforcement. And enforcement, I don't even want to get up to talk about the government and the agencies. I just talk about developer, like Pro-Rintas that built Dash, right? You see the number of accidents, and then you read that 18 million was not paid to the subcontractors at the end of the project, right? It's all because developer is also the contractor. And then they have got their non-independent consultants, meaning consultants, they engage under their payroll and they dare not say anything. And this is no good. This is no check and balance. And check and balance is a very important part of construction activities. We don't have that. Okay, here, these are my last slides, by the way. Maybe I don't want to go into details. You can ask me questions. Now, why do you see Dash and all this getting so close to the buildings? According to this part here, 13 meters, jarak undur baru Lebuh Raya, okay? 9 plus meters setback Serbani. It used to have another 19 meters. But for urban highways, because there's no way to build, no way to acquire so many things to build, this is during Sami Vilu's time, by the way, and of course Mahathir. They reduced it to 13 meters, all right? Same thing. Undur means setback. Now this is for elevator highway, same thing, 13 meters, 13 meters. 13 meters is about 42, 43 feet, by the way. But yet, why do we see highways coming within 10 feet of our windows? This is where it is, the fine print. It says here, pengurangan jarak undur Lebuh Raya. There is a reduction which is under the discretion of the Works Minister. All this, I won't go into details. All these are explaining to you under what conditions they can reduce. Okay. The other side, you can see this is signed by Dato Sri Sami Vilu, Ministry of Works. Okay. Back in 26 September 2007, he authorized this discretion by the Works Minister, which means by himself, because he was Works Minister then, to reduce this. So theoretically, you can reduce until 1 meter away from your window. And that's no good. And this is why, there's no check and balance, and the policies, the governance, and enforcements are all flawed. Okay, thank you very much, gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm sorry I took up more time. Thank you.
Thank you, David. Just a reminder.
You got to stay here for
Just a reminder for those that came in later, you can ask your family and friends to log into Facebook in Say No to PJD Link Facebook page, and then you can watch this live. And you can get more info on this later for all the presenters and all the slides. Thank you very much.
Give me the mic.
Okay, we'd like to now invite our guest speaker. She is Dr. Ungku Norani, Sonet Binti Rahman, fondly called Dr. Nora, I was told.
Can I just take this one?
She is a senior lecturer, School of Architecture, Building and Design, Faculty of Innovation and Technology at Taylor's University. And Dr. Nora is actually an urban designer. She is a coordinator of this, I understand, rather new organization called Malaysian Urban Design Association, or Perekabandar. And she will be delivering to us her views and her specialty on what constitutes good urban design. Please welcome Dr. Nora.
Also would like to thank YB Jamaliah. She'll be stepping out now. She has to go back for her engagement. Thank you, YB.
Okay. Hello. Assalamualaikum. A very good morning, everyone. Dear distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, a thank you to Mr. David for inviting me here today. It is an honor for me to be here talking about good urban design today, and hope that you will find it informative and thought-provoking. I am rather humbled to be talking about this particular topic in front of all of you, as I acknowledge other prominent figures in this urban design, including my mentors. And I too hope to highlight that this talk is far away from me condemning any good initiative and efforts by any organizations and parties with a good intention in mitigating and present issue of traffic congestions and effort in moving forward to a sustainable development. Therefore, this is a disclaimer of me personally, hoping that my words today are further taken ahead as additional food of thought for the future of good urban design practice in Malaysia. Ladies and gentlemen, we are looking at a book cover of the death and life of a great American city by renowned urban designer icon Jane Jacobs. This book has caused a great debate between Jane Jacobs and prominent urban planner in New York back in 50s at that time, Robert Moses, over his highway proposal. And I can feel the same vibes as Jacobs created at that time by Mr. David in this hall today. In this book, Jane Jacobs argues that successful cities are composed of diverse mixed-use neighborhoods that allow for spontaneous social economic interaction between people. She believed that modernist planning theories, which prioritize separating residential, commercial, industrial areas, have destroyed the vitality of many American cities. Jacobs also emphasized the importance of pedestrian-friendly streets, public spaces, and small-scale, locally owned business in creating a sense of community and social capital in urban areas. She argued that these elements are crucial for fostering social trust and for creating a sense of a place in a city. Next, please. That is Jane Jacobs during her fights over a highway proposal in New York in the 50s. In the context of the presence of infrastructure like highways, she argued that highways disrupted the social fabric of urban neighborhoods, separated communities, and caused environmental damage. Jacobs believed that highways were often built without regard for the needs and desire of local residents, and that they often prioritized the interests of motorists and large corporations over the needs of urban communities. She also believed that highways encourage suburbanizations and sprawl, which she saw as harmful to the vitality of the cities. Next one. You are currently looking at a poster that highlights 4 main points by Jane Jacobs in celebrating the city. I would like you to spend a few seconds delving into Jacobs' belief in the practice of a good city development, hoping that you could absorb the spirit of her advocacy and strongly believe in it. Ladies and gentlemen, now we are looking at the Professor Emeritus from Oxford Group, Ian Bentley, and his extremely well-referred globally and has been translated widely, The Responsive Environment. The book also further echoed the words of James Jacobs. I've got the opportunity to speak to someone that happened to be there in Oxford Brook when Bentley presented his PhD thesis, which is also the book that we are currently looking at. I was told that it is one of a kind of a PhD thesis and the contribution has been extremely acknowledged and recognized worldwide. There are 7 elements highlighted by Binti in his book pertaining to responsive environment design in urban design approach, which include permeability, variety, legibility, robustness, visual appropriateness, and richness. Personalizations. In the context of our discussion today, permeability and visual appropriateness are the 2 main elements that are relevant to be taken into further considerations. A high permeability, commonly associated with a high level of physical access or path. It allows humans to move around and access a place from multiple access points. Also, in terms of visual permeability, it allows a great visual access for people to establish a good mental map in navigating them within a place. While visual appropriateness further highlight the importance of the presence of any physical mass within an urban context to contribute to a pleasant-looking element to the eyes of the people. Therefore, I hope to further emphasize on terms such as brutalism and eyesore of physical elements to be introduced within the urban context to be taken further into considerations as what you have previously seen from the previous speakers. The next one. This is the recently published book by Marco called Movement: How to Take Back Our Street and Transform Our Life in 2022. In this book, Marco mentally highlighted few elements in reclaiming the urban area, including build community connections. Creating connections and fostering relationship between community members is crucial to building trust and establishing a sense of ownership over public spaces. It is your right to have a sense of ownership towards what development is taking place ahead. Address systematic issues. Promote active transportation. Encouraging people to walk, bike, or take public transportation can help reduce congestions and pollution, while also promoting healthier lifestyle. Foster a sense of ownership, encouraging community members to take an active role in the care and maintenance of our public spaces can help create a sense of ownership and responsibility. Encourage civic engagement just like what we are currently in. Foster positive relationship with law enforcement and promote diversity and inclusions. The next one. All city makes mistake, but great city reflect and fix them. This is by Marco, the previous author just now. I am about to show you a few reclaiming and restoration projects globally of the elevated highway developed in bringing back good public realms within urban contexts. The first one is Chongyicheon River Seoul in Korea, river restoration with highway removal. On the left side is how it was before, and on the left side is how it is now. Sorry, on the right side is how it was before, and the left side is how it is now. The river was opened back to the public, meaning they are redigging the river in September 2005 after they have covered it with a brutal structure of elevated highway, and was lauded as a major success urban renewal and beautification. The river was covered and restored even in a large and dense central business district with multiple positive effects. Despite that, air quality improved, microclimate benefit come from the river corridor and higher wind speed. The number of bird species in the river corridor increased from 6 to 36, fish species from 4 to 25, insect species from 15 to 192. The next one. So this is how is the river now. Okay, the next one. The third case study, the restoration project of Catarajis Single Canal in Utrecht, Netherlands in 2020. An international jury has awarded the 2022 European Prize for Urban Public Space to the restoration project of the canal. Again, on the right side is how it was before, on the left side how it is now. The canal has been returned to original state, the natural characteristic of a river, after having been replaced for more than 50 years by a large highway. The jury considered that the reconstructions of the canal is an exemplary intervention of the survival of our cities in this new climate era. The canal is crucial for building urban resilience in the city. It is increasing our capacity to deal with extreme heat, storm and flooding, and the recovery of water and plant life helps capture carbon and reduce pollution. The canal has become a desirable and playful place to be for the city's residents, and has also created new habitat for other living beings. The jury appreciate the fact that this intervention is part of a large urban transformation which look for the future by bringing back elements from the city's past. The last one. So this is the river in your tract. The next one. So this is the third case study. Reclaim project of the Manzanares River in Madrid. In June 2008, the Department of Urban Planning of the Madrid City Council officially launched the Madrid Rail project to reclaim back the Manzanares River. Again, on the top right side is how it was, on the left side 2011 how it is now, beautifully. The project restored the surrounding natural habitat for residents to enjoy. The city had first converted the M30 multi-lane highway underground, resulting in 10 kilometers long parkland area. 820 hectares have been converted into long park. The river bank has thus become an integral part of the city center and now offer Mediterranean and visitor an area surrounded by vegetation and filled with a wide range of sports, leisure and cultural facility. Next one. This is how it is now. Can you imagine? It was filled with a concrete jungle back then. Before I end my session, I hope to further recap these words from the poster of today's event. We would like it to be a sustainable city of 20-minute neighborhoods with lots of trees and greenery, walkways, bicycle paths, and efficient bus service and first last mile connectivity to public transit. And without the transit stations and without the elevated toll highway, the PJD Link, neighborhood communities of Petaling Jaya. In relation to the notion and wisdom by the prominent urban design figures I presented earlier, I could conclude that these words carry nothing less but echo similar wisdom and philosophy of a good urban design. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much indeed, Dr. Nora. Believe me, I was introduced to Dr. Nora only like 4 days ago, I think. There was a colleague called Dr. Rahman who couldn't be here because of a prior engagement, and she grew up in Section 17. Her parents still live there. I was hoping she would come and also share her views on urban design. They are colleagues, they are also members of Perekabandar, right, Dr. Nora? Okay, the one phrase that Dr. Nora has shared just now that I like to repeat and make it a theme is the sense of ownership. I think the very fact that today we are holding our own town hall meeting is we are taking ownership of our rights, of what we want our city to be. So at this juncture, I'd like to remind you, there are QR codes pasted around the doors and so on. Ask Mr. Loke, we're not sure where they are. Please go and scan them. Go in and join our poll and make our numbers grow so that we can use these numbers and show the government, show the authorities, and also show the developer that our own social survey shows maybe 90-95% of the people are against the PJD Link. Yeah, thank you. So next, I'd like to invite our invited prominent speaker, Dr. Rosli Khan. He is the Managing Director of MDS Traffic Consultancy, am I right? MDS Consulting Group, engineer by profession. Dr. Rosli has lately been very vocal. I think a series of 4 days articles in FMT as well as Malaysia Kini. And without much further ado, I'll let Dr. Rosli in person tell you more about what he wrote about. Thank you, Dr. Rosli. Slide, huh?
No slide. No slide. Okay. Okay, thank you. Hi, very good morning to all. I think about time somebody speak on politics, I think. Yeah, so maybe add a political dimension to what you have been talking about here. So when David called me and asked to stick my neck out, so I said, well, why not? You know, I'm a traffic consultant by profession, but with that, I think everybody will know that I earn my living through fees. So I do research, I do consultancy work, I do studies to earn to pay all the bills. So when David suggested that, you know, come and speak at this forum, so with no fees involved, of course, yeah. So I said, why not? Prime Minister also work with no fees, right? And I'm a fan of, I must admit, I'm a fan of unity government, and I think they have started, well, they campaign well. I'm not sure about now, what they have done, but they campaign well. And one of the key points in the campaign was to abolish toll highways, right? You all remember back in November, most of PH candidates were campaigning that, oh, when we come into power, we will review toll, we will abolish toll, we are not going to build more highways in Klang Valley and all this stuff, right? So, but when they came into power, it's been more than 3 months now, nothing has happened. So I wrote a piece of article in FMT, and I think Malaysia Kini also took the trouble to publish it as well, and Malaysian Insight as well, because they feel that this is a good issue to be published. And what I said was, I give a step-by-step approach on how the government can actually abolish toll. The very first one that they should do is to declassify the concession agreement. Has any one of you seen the actual physical concession agreement? Nobody, right? I have seen. In the course of my work, I've seen. But I cannot divulge any details to anybody because it is under OSA, Official Secret Act. So if we discuss the contents of any concession agreement, you'll be hauled to court because you are taking out details of the concession agreement which are considered by the government as official secret. Now, my second step is, after you declassify the concession agreement, then only we can talk about it, we can discuss, we can look into the detail, we can have a look, what is it that contained inside the concession agreement. Without declassifying the concession agreement, we cannot say anything, we cannot discuss. So that's, to me, you know, it's upsetting. Because in the first place, when you wanted to come into power, you did a campaign, you did a manifesto, you are asking us, the rakyat, the voters, to vote for you based on your agenda. When you come into power, you don't declassify all this. You don't take the action that you promised all the voters that you wanted to take. So you run away from your responsibility. So, to me, if you say that you will campaign that you are going to abolish toll, then you have to take concerted effort, both at federal as well as state government to work together to come up with a plan to abolish the toll. Now, my next question is, if you are doing that, if you have got a plan to abolish toll, you have to put a stop to any new toll. You have to put a stop. You cannot review the concession agreement, the toll and so on, and then you allow another corporate player to continue with developing a new toll road. You cannot do that. You have to put a stop. You say that until the next election, then we're going to consider. Now we are working on it. We are getting all the experts. We are getting all the people with technical background and so on to review all this. I believe David should be part of that team to review on behalf of the government. You know, because David has done tremendous amount of work from KIDEX days. KIDEX was 10 years ago, right? 10 years ago, and it's the same thing. We are talking about the same thing for 10 years. 10 years we are talking about the same thing. This is the same thing. They just changed the name from KIDEX to PJD Link. That's all. It's all wine in the new bottle. Yeah, nothing more than that. Why I say that the current government has to declassify all the concession agreement? Because they were not a party to that agreement. They can declassify it. They were not the one who signed the agreement 30 years ago. North-South Highway was signed more than 30 years ago. It has gone beyond the 30 years period that we understand. Build, operate and transfer for 30 years. It has gone more than that. It was built in late 80s. So you just count. For those people who were born in the 80s, you are now 40 plus. Yeah. Right? 40 plus, more than 30 years old. So they can declassify the agreement. And once they classify, then only we can talk about it. Otherwise, I get taken to jail. I mean, I've written articles and I have been sued before. So, you know, people, some corporate clients didn't like what I wrote. So they took me to court under defamation. I defamed them, they say. But I say, okay, you know, and then in the end, they say, either you apologize or you pay the fine. I say, okay, I apologize. Simple, right? So I don't have to pay all the fines, everything and so on. But the point is, whether you apologize or not, the point has been made. You know, it has been published. So I believe that this one, the way forward for this one, is for current unity government to declassify all the concession agreement, put a stop to any new toll roads, put them under review. Now, the key thing is that once we can see the concession agreement, we understand the content, we understand the rates and tariff, everything and so on, there could be some cases where we feel that, oh, this particular highway is quite good. You know, we can actually allow them to collect toll because some of that income probably can pay for public transport. That's what it's supposed to be. You collect from people who wants to travel faster, who own big cars. They want to go from point A to B faster. They pay toll. That money you can channel to public transport for people who don't have cars. There are a lot of people in Malaysia who still don't have access to private cars. You know, so there got to be some comprehensive review by the government to determine that. Yeah, I think we all understand. If we see the concession agreement, I think we probably can understand that some of these concessions are actually owned by the government-owned companies. They are not all private. They are government-owned companies. So they are owned by people like Khazanah, EPF also. We all contribute to EPF. So why would we want to abolish toll that are collected by EPF that pays us 4.5% interest every year? So if you abolish toll, maybe they can't even pay 1.5%, interest. So those are certain key elements, I think, that when people understand, people will have a better understanding and decide, accordingly. So I think I've made my point. Yeah, declassify concession agreement, make people understand better, put a stop to any new toll development, toll highway development, until such time that the government can undertake a comprehensive plan on what should be built, what should not be built, how to channel income to support public transportation. And one last word, David. Next time, if you organize a session like this, we shouldn't be involved in the community, because everybody drives cars and they have to come and park, no place to park and so on. It disturbs the community here. Next time, we should do it in a place where public transport is accessible. Okay? Thank you. Thank you.
I think for the LCC's representative our next speaker is Alice.
Yeah, I won't be using the slides.
Okay, Alice will present environmental impacts of PJD Link.
Justin, I won't be using slides. There's no time. All right.
Go upstairs.
Okay, never mind. All right. I thought I'd be. You look after my handbag. How much time do I have? We are running out of time. Okay, never mind. All right. Yeah. So, good morning, everyone. Right. It's still morning. So I'll be talking about environmental impacts and carbon footprints of the PJD Link. Right? Next one. Yeah. Just as a reminder to all of us, this highway, elevator highway, 14 kilometers, 4-lane, 10-meter high main line, stretching from the Spring Highway to Ginrara in with 5 toll plazas and 11 kilometers of interchanges comprising 21 ramps. It is massive and extensive. It is like a huge centipede with pairs of legs not evenly spaced. Yeah, next one. Right, you've seen this before. Jalan Penchala, a beautiful avenue with trees. Just it, right? The after, with the PJD Link, a huge concrete structure displacing the trees. First, environmental impact, increase in heat level and heat stress. Now, the PJD Link would increase urban heat, with heat coming from the structure itself, heat from combustion engines at choke points where ramps are built, and also heat trapped beneath the platform of the elevated highway. This increase in heat plus the loss of cooling effect of trees chopped down. We know that trees undergo transpiration, absorb heat from the environment and brings about cooling effect. Right? Next one, please. Yeah. Now, at the moment, we do have urban heat. And this morning, you can see it's quite hot. I would say blazing hot, So that is likely that it is heat wave of global warming. So urban heat exacerbating heat wave, we have high heat levels. After, with increased urban heat, much higher temperatures. Then the next thing is about the El Nino, a periodic weather event, right? Which occurs every 2 to 7 years. This event brings heat waves from the Pacific Ocean. So the next El Nino can take place later this year, and it can last for months. So we have the increased urban heat waves from global warming, heat waves from the El Nino, very hot, very dry weather. Somewhat, it would be a match with the El Nino of 2016, right? Without the PJD link, we will be able to manage the heat much better. Right? All right, so the next impact is the PM 2.5 and PM 10. PM, particulate matter, right? PM 10 micrometers and below in diameter. PM 2.5, much finer. They're essentially fine liquid droplets or solid particles suspended in the atmosphere or in the air. PM are inhaled, with the PM 2.5 depositing on surfaces much deeper in the lungs. Health effects include premature mortality and aggravation of heart and lung diseases. Infants, children, and the elderly with pre-existing conditions are most vulnerable. Yes, next one. Right. What is the air quality in PJ right now? Already compromised. The PM 2.5 level of PJ exceeds the recommended WHO limit. With the PJD link, the air quality would be worse. Okay, so we have exhaust fumes at choke points trapped under the elevated highway. All right, and the loss of trees not replaced. The trees themselves actually can remove PM 2.5. So the air quality will be much worse with the PJD link. Next one. Higher risk of flash floods, that is with reference along the alignment. Because of climate change, we have heavier and more frequent rainfall. But at the moment, hardly any flash floods. After high likelihood of flash floods, heavier rainfall expected, okay, due to climate change. And the loss of trees, which actually remove stormwater runoffs. So without trees, we are in deep trouble. And we know the stormwater drain that is in between the BBBS and the Menara BSC, Menara Back. We have many trees there. And these trees, if the highway is built, is going to be chopped down. You just imagine, the mud, things, it's supposed to be a stormwater drain on top of that. So we're going to lose a lot of trees along the highway, mature trees. So the risk of flash floods is much higher, and we have houses in section 19 which are lower than the level of Jalan Harapan. Okay, they will bear the brunt of flash floods. All right, next one please. Increase in noise pollution. Yes, congestion at choke points and cars using the elevated highway. So health effects, chronic annoyance, sleep disturbance, causing severe heart disease, and metabolic disorders such as diabetes. Of course, hearing impairment and poor mental health. So yes, We need to be more aware there are health effects, in noise pollution. The next one, please. Increase in light pollution. What is light pollution? Excessive misdirected or obtrusive light. Why? We're going to have additional street lights on the PJD Link, and we have cars using the elevator highway at night. Effects are exposure to light while sleeping, brings about sleep disorders, increased headaches, worker fatigue, stress, and also obesity due to lack of sleep and anxiety. All right? So this is something pretty new to us, and we need to take note of it. All right, next one, please. Loss of trees vital to mental health. Now, we're going to lose quite a number of mature trees. All right? And we know greenery, parks, and trees are very important, for urban dwellers. Now, the target ratio of urban trees in modern cities in the world is 20 to 25 square meters per person. Is there a measurement before we decide to chop down trees? Right? It's for our local council to answer that question. Right? Next one, please. Now, part B is on the carbon footprint of the PJD Link and carbon offsetting. Malaysia, all right, what is our national commitment to net zero? In other words, the amount of greenhouse gases, including carbon dioxide, emitted and taken away from the atmosphere is zero, right? Net zero. There's a balance. Malaysia is signatory to legally binding Paris Agreement, right? It's legally binding. This one can be used in court. And the government has also pledged carbon neutrality by 2050. Next one, please. Embodied carbon. What is embodied carbon? So for any building, all right, buildings like this, infrastructure, building materials are required, transportation, installation of the structures, right? All right. Even they say maintenance and disposal of any excess building materials. Energy is required, and our source of energy is still very much fossil fuel, all right, oil and gas. So a lot of carbon dioxide emission. That's why we speak about embodied carbon. And be sure the PJD Link has a huge embodied carbon. All right. Now, next one, please. Right. At the moment, we do not have a national roadmap to attaining 2050. So what we have is a voluntary, carbon, market, where private companies can buy or purchase, credits to offset the embodied carbon. All right. Next one, please. We are saying that the PJD Link should not be allowed, right, to purchase any credits for offsetting the carbon, the embodied carbon, because that's the only way that it can be done, right? Because it is tremendously, profoundly, and permanently damaging. We have seen all that. Okay, next one, please. Next one, please. All right. So, next one, please. All right. Should not be allowed. There's the emphasis. The next one, please. The last one. No offsetting of the carbon footprint of the PJD Link. No PJD Link. Because any building, any infrastructure, government or private, has to be carbon neutral by 2050. The government has pledged that. Now the companies are doing it on their own because there's no national roadmap. So we would expect PJD Link to do that, and we say the government, the Department of Environment cannot allow that to be done because it is profoundly and permanently damaging to thousands and thousands, and in no way can PJ become a sustainable city if the PJD Link is built. Thank you very much.
Thank you. council from Taman Medan here. He's the only admin that put down for our people folks in 218.
No slides from.
No slides because the mic.
Actually, you come and sit in front of us. YB? Come, YB. Thank you, YB. Our speaker is a lot of people say that what we keep hearing is that the south side, the Kinrara side, they all are qualified. So now we, one of the myths that they say that he's going to debunk, and this is one of the myths. We have one speaker here from Kinrara. His name is Danaraj. Sorry? Oh, you're here. He sleeps up on people. Okay, he's a resident of Kirara. We'll round up the perspective by feeding his views on PJD Link from the south end and proposed alignment and its many ramps in Puchong and Kirara affects him and his family.
Hello. I'll make myself very brief here. All in all, there are going to be 7 ramps built around Kirara from TK4 to TK2. 2 ramps there, ingress and egress, and 1 ramp at TK7, 2 ramps at BK1 and BK2, and at the tail end towards Bukit Jalil Highway, 1 leading towards Bukit Jalil Highway, another 1 would be receiving traffic from Bukit Jalil Highway. So it is my belief and the belief of residents in Kinrara that this would not solve traffic problems and the bottlenecks would remain, and there were no statistics given to us by the PJD Link developer, and to top things off, there are a lot of lies lies, rumors that we are backing them. We never back them. We don't like them. But it's not just us. The people from Saujana, I heard this, Saujana, Tropicana, Ara, they are being victimized as well. They say that folks from here have complied with the proposals from PJD Link, another lie, another fake news, and I would like to. I got nothing much to say. This another thing is we had 2 street protests before. Both were PJ centric. One was at Section 14 on the 2nd of July last year, and the second one was on the 23rd of July last year as well at Bandar Utama. So to cap things off, to like complete this protest, inclusive of Kinrara folks as well, we're going to hold another street protest, a silent protest on the 1st April from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. located at Bandar Kinrara 1. So I hope we could join forces and make ourselves heard for one more time before the submission of the traffic impact and the social impact and the environment impact assessment reports to the Works Minister, the Housing Minister and the Environment Ministers. So, and I heard there's a health impact assessment as well. So obviously we would have mental health issues, in the long run. Maybe I would go senile or I'll go mental along the way. So I hope all of you can come down to Bandar Kinrara again on the 1st of April Fool's Day, from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. So so thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you, Doc. Okay, we would like to start our Q&A.
This is like that.
Okay. Any questions for us, for the representative of Gobind, of Menteri Besar, of LCC, even YB, I'm sure you can answer as well. So is there any questions, you can please raise up your hand and then we will lead you up to the mic. But hang on a bit, I just want to bring attention to, if you see any drawing here, artist impression, that's done by Mr. Stanley. Yeah. He's doing live drawing now at the moment. Okay, first question. Okay, when, step up to the mic. You mention your name and where you're from. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Melvin from Section 14, PJ. Yeah, we had a FGD earlier, a few days ago, and these are questions that I will ask our representative from our state government and also from Member Parliament. Okay, number one. Okay, the studies conducted right now, the social impact assessments and DIA and DIA. I would like to question the transparency of these studies being done now, because these reports will be submitted for the approval of this highway or not. So I'd like to say, can you all guarantee the transparency and that these reports will not be altered to suit the interests of the developer of this highway? Number two, the other thing is, when these reports are completed, we will request a town hall with the full details of this entire PJD link, because right now it's still very sketchy. We do not know the exact details of whether there will be any more alteration or modification to this highway and how we have, if the highway ever go through. Okay, we can now say never. The traffic impact to the road users during peak hours and non-peak, as all our speakers have said, it will impact us a lot. How will the government or the authorities help to relieve the traffic during peak hours? For example, it was mentioned just now, if there's a flood, there's a 4 hours jam. Another thing I would say is the quality of life. For the residents, there's tangible and intangible effect of the quality of life here. Okay, we talk about money and cents now. All of y'all may not be related to what they are saying, but let me tell you, if your health is affected, you have to go to the hospital. Who is going to pay for your medical bills? If your car stuck in a jam breaks down, who is going to pay for the damage? If your car is stuck in a flood because of this highway, again, who will pay for the damage? And finally, another thing is the structural damage that might happen when all the piling goes on along the highway. As you all know, PJ is a developed and mature township. All the houses have been built from the 1960s up to probably 20 or 10 years ago. When it was built, it was not meant for a highway to run right across in front of their house. So if there's crack damages to the structure, who will pay for the damages? Can my representative in the government and the state government please answer this? Thank you very much.
Keep going, is it? Okay, they are writing down the questions, so you keep going. The gentleman in front, please mention your name, where you're from, and who you're addressing this question to. Thank you.
Hi, good morning everyone. My name is Syed Taufik, Haji Syed Taufik. I'm from the Bandar Utara Residents Association. Well, I have to qualify de facto Bandar Utama Residents Association, because arising from our complaint on certain local personalities, we got ourselves into problems, and that was what happened. Now my question is this: I've heard from confirmed sources that this PJD Link will be undertaken by MRail. MRail, I'm not too sure the full name. They are the contractors for the Gemas to Johor Bahru line, railway line, but apparently they had difficulties in finishing the project or something, and they are in debt. Now they are embarking on this project so that they want to cover back. They cover back their monies. Yeah. Just now I was with YB Jamaliah for a while. I asked her, why are you leaving so fast? And I asked her, when we had our Pastor was there, YB William Leong was there as well, and YB Maria kept on asking me, where's our Abdul? She wasn't there, I couldn't speak. But for the record, I have reminded her well before, but you just kept quiet. YB Tony Paul was not there as well. So this is what we are. And the other main issue for Bandar Utama is this: where the highway is supposed to start or end, we will have this problem where, if you know Balai Polis Bandar Utama and the British International School, immediately after the ramp going in and out, there will be congestion, because as it is, we call our roads Leboh Bandar Utama, but it's actually only 2 lanes by each side. The problem is that will be the worst congestion. As it is, our residents going from B1 to 10, crossing to 11 to 12, is having problems. B11 and 12 residents are trying to unable to come out into the main Leboh Bandar Utama during the day. So this will be even worse. Going down the lane as it is, the LRT3 project is still going on, roads have been constricted, and we have been raising this time and again, but we bear with it. Why? Because as far as LRT3 was concerned, we raised an objection when it was supposed to have come in right through, cutting into Bandar Utama, via Leboh Bandar Utama to Persiaran Bandar Utama and end at TV3, smack there. But arising from our collecting 1,100 objection letters, the Prasarana have agreed to have realigned LRT3 on Sungai Kayu Ara. So that's no issue. We are happy with that. It's not that we're simply bantahi for the sake of bantah, but we are also pleased to have new infrastructure coming in, but not this highway. This highway is going to give us hell. Thank you very much.
Next question. Yes, gentleman over there. Name, where you're from, and who you're addressing the question to.
Okay, hello. Okay, my name is Charles Moreira. I'm a resident of Section 14, Petaling Jaya, and I'm addressing this especially to the representative of YB Lee Chuan Chung. If I'm not wrong, on the 7th of January 2023, a group of us residents, including Eddie, representing RA14, Eddie, right? Eddie, representing RA14, David Yoong, Josh Hong, Justin Lee, all that and yourself were at this meeting at the Ali Mutu and Achong in PJ33. Now, Eddie, representing RA14, asked YB Lee Chuan Chung to bring up the issue and to actually request that the approval in principle, or the approval in what's the term they use in principle, or the approval in principle, be rescinded. Because this approval was made under the previous government, so they asked to go and ask Anwar Ibrahim to rescind the approval in principle. Now, from what I have read in the media, YB Lee Chun Chung has brought up the issue with Antalingi, but it is more seeking a status update on PJD Link, and I do not know whether he has actually brought forward that suggestion or request to rescind to revoke the approval at federal level. Okay, thank you, that's all.
Thank you. You guys want to answer all later, so you write it down. Okay, excellent. Okay, the lady in blue, please. Name, where from, and who you directed the question for. The front of the person. Okay, yes.
I'm Sandra. I'm from SS20. I think this morning and from the past few months when I started to put some interest into this topic, a lot have been said and discussed about the traffic impact, environment impact and social impact, and I also learned this morning from the rep of Gobind that these were the approval by the state government, right, for the proposal of this project to conduct the surveys. However, do we really think that these impact studies are really critical at this point in time? What to me is the most important point here is the government at the state level and the federal level need to address this issue. Whether the proposed highway is really effective solution to disperse the traffic. What really is the case of this? Whether or not this is a sustainable solution. This needs to be addressed first before we consider what are the environment impact, social impact, and the other traffic impact. May I request for you to bring this back into the day one, into the parliament to debate this. If the government at these two levels do not have competent people to support this study, at least I hear that there are many experts in this room. Involve David Yoong, for example. Thank you.
Thank you. We are only getting 6 more questions. So the gentleman in black, is it? Guys? Okay, thanks.
My name is Billy. I'm from Section 12. I would like to add on to the first question just now about who's going to, whether the developer will pay for the damages or who's going to pay for it. I think it's not just about paying, but we want a bank guarantee. I think every household that is likely to be affected, we want the developers, if the project goes on, to provide a bank guarantee of a substantial amount, not just for repairs, but they must also pay for disruption of our livelihoods, which means that if damage to the property requires work to be done, we want them to pay us to stay somewhere else, to relocate, to shift our things out temporarily somewhere else. No? And all these kind of disruptions, we cannot cook in the house, we cannot live in our normal ways, we want alternative accommodation. Developers has to pay for this, and not just pay for this, give us a bank guarantee for it. Okay. And the other thing is, Taufik, do you have your handkerchief? I think you're going to cry about this. Okay. This is to our PJ people, our PJ government. Right now, if you are traveling from the south to the north along the Bus Highway, how do you get from the south to the north? You take a big loop around the SKVE. All right? But just now, our cleaner friend told us that there is a ramp from the Bukit Jalil Highway up to this proposed PJD Link. If you are going to travel from the south to the north in the future, you are not going to take the very lengthy and expensive SKBE detour. You are going to exit the north-south highway on the Bukit Jalil Highway. You are going to join PJD Link, and you are going to exit and join back the north-south highway at the Damansara Jaya toll. It's going to be much faster. It will probably be cheaper. So you ask our representatives, is this really going to be a dispersal, a traffic convenience from PJ South to PJ North? Or is it going to facilitate north-south highway, north-south traveling? Thank you.
Thank you. For the next question, please keep it short because we need to have press conference as well after this. Thank you very much. The gentleman in blue and followed by the gentleman in white. Oh, is it gentleman?
Yeah, good afternoon. My name is Peter Fu from Section 14, Millennium Square. Now, way back in 2015, we were told that PJD Link is about to start because KIDEX was cancelled. So we formed a Potent committee. I was the Potent secretary. We debated among our neighbors and we came up with a solution that we are going to protest direct to the state government, the Menteri Besar, who was then Amin, the Menteri Besar. So, with about 10 of us, house-to-house campaign, we collected 1,000 over signatures, wrote a letter. Personally, a group of us, about 20, went to Shah Alam, Menteri Besar's office, and handed in the letter of protest. It was then, we never met the Menteri Besar, but the subject was closed for a while. And now, in 2018, 2019, it surfaced again. My question is for the state government. Why the then Menteri Besar rejected this proposal, and now the current Menteri Besar is still thinking about it. My next question is addressed to the Mayor of MPPJ. We all know Section 13.
The mayor is not here, so probably you can pass on the question to us later and then we will get back to you.
I think I have to mention this. Section 13 used to be light industrial area. It is now converted into commercial area. Some of you may know if you pass along Jalan Ungku, you see high-rise are coming up. Now there are two plots of land there, huge one. One is the old Rahman, and the next one is Dust Baby or Dust Lady. Now each of these plots is about 10 to 20 acres. Can you imagine the amount of traffic that's going to be generated when they build this? How are they going to solve the traffic problem? Thank you.
Next question is, you already know who's the next, right?
Sorry, I'm very short. Hi, I'll try to keep this short. I'm a resident of Section 16. I guess my question is really simple for whoever is in charge or related to this. A bit silly, really. Are you sure buses wouldn't be cheaper than building the PJD Link? I mean, as far as I understand from many urban cities, even Jakarta is doing this now. They're investing a lot in just doing better, more buses that connect to more places rather than building one single short, super expensive highway that only connects, that particular straight line and then channels the jam to everywhere else. So I guess I'd really like to see, some evidence that we've been comparing, whoever the decision makers are, that you've been comparing, the costs of this highway, which is going to be like just one big project, versus like a whole network of, urban public transit that would serve not only just, a particular road of transport, but, like a human or like a human blood vessel system, I guess. Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you very much. After this, we will have 3 more questions, and then any other questions? What your name, please? The one, the lady before.
Yeah. Good morning. My name is.
From B216, your name. Hang on a minute. The gentleman can first. After these 3 questions, please. Whatever questions you have, you can write it on the back. We have direct communications with YB's people. We will pass it on to them. The name, please. Your name?
Yes, my name is Rachel from section 16 PJD Link.
Thank you. The gentleman. Okay. Behind first. The gentleman behind first, then next week. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Ernest Wester. I just do 3 simple questions. 1. Petaling Jaya is a very old town. We all know it's the first satellite town in Malaysia. To start off with, we are talking about all this PJD Link, highways and so forth and so on. Number 1 issue, the land titles has never been settled yet in PJ. And number 2, has the PJ master plan, deposited master plan, has it been nullified or not? This has been repeatedly brought to the attention of the Prime Ministers, 2-3 Prime Ministers ago. I can still remember one was Badawi himself. And this is what came out in the news. I think Star, Rita Harian, some other news put it out. And he asked the same question, has the PJ plan been nullified or not? If not, then all these buildings and all this have to be brought down. And number 3, I would truly ask the members of parliament, all the representative people, to ask our Prime Minister and your whole Dewan to set up a tribunal to investigate all these things that are happening for the past years, for the past 20 to 25 years, 30 years in Petaling Jaya. Why are they systematically destroying PJ when Petaling Jaya has already been developed, settled, and the whole plan has been deposited? They can redo it, no doubt, but they have to pay compensation to the landowners. Right? And number 3, last one, sorry. And they also, and this Prime Minister, you all know about the National Urbanization Plan, the National Physical Plan. What does he say? For every 1,500 people, we need how much of green? 2 hectares of green. Where is all this going to go when we start talking about all of this? I mean, have the government forsaken the people? Now that we have a new government, again I request, this is a very urgent, real matter that you all have to get into the root cause of it. You have to have an organization independent to investigate these matters. Only then we can solve this problem.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. So after the gentleman will be the gentleman in white, and after the closed session, and then we will, any questions you can just write it in the back. We have people waiting there to write down. Okay, gentleman in the front, please.
Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Singh. I'm from Damansara Utama. First of all, I just want to show all these analyzers, from the expert and specialists, telling the advantage of PJ Link and disadvantage of PJ Link. So I just want to ask our, top people, like our Abdul, member of the parliament, does this PJD Link really benefit the residents around here? This is one simple question. Are they more stupid than we laymen? We read through all these analyses and we know that, you see, this is disadvantage. And this project, since 10 years ago, because of KIDEX, it had been stopped, but now they want to bring it out again. Whether or not this is going to benefit some guys or benefit to the community. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, hi, my name is Eddie. I'm from section 17. It's a very straightforward question. The answer is just going to be yes, no, or maybe. There's a school, Chongpa Damansara, in section 17. It's before in Damansara Intan and Chich Damansara, or the end of Jalan Harapan. So there are rumors that they may take away the school for the highway. So I just want to know, will this happen or not? Yes, no, maybe. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, MB's representative and Binti Gobind's
Thank you, Melvin. Once again, thank you to Eddie, Tuan Syed, Charles Pereira, Sandra, David, Peter Fu, Ernest, I didn't get your name, sir, and Kelly. I will answer some part of it, and JJ from MB office will answer some part of it. Like I started earlier in the morning, to share about the stand or the position that PH Selangor have taken, and this position has been affirmed even 4 days ago about PJD Link, which I would like to repeat again, which is number one, the only approval that have been given by the state government is to conduct survey, and second is to conduct focus group discussion. So in terms of the question about transparency of the study, to have town hall again to share information, what I can assure that in 2 or 3 weeks time, when we have another round of meeting which will be moderated by Menteri Besar Office with PJD Link, and some of the RAs, some of you all have reached out to me to be included. We are sure, or we are happy, after that to come back and to share the details with all of you. Okay, so the meeting that will be had, we will definitely come back and share the details with you. Same as what we are doing today. We had a meeting 5 days ago, and we are here to share with you the outcome of the meeting. Right? Tuan Syed spoke about my colleague Jamaliah not attending the protest, but rest assured, YB Jamaliah have been, been engaging with resident associations to talk about this matter. I believe that she's not running away. Probably she didn't attend one event, but rest assured, YB Jamaliah have been attending and engaging with as many stakeholders as possible and with the resident associations as well. Mr. Charles, Charles' question, I will leave it to YB Lee's representative to answer. Sandra mentioned about please bring back this to Parliament. YB Lee Chen Chong have raised this matter in Parliament, and we will constantly raise this matter in Parliament. But I think we, as a federal government and state government, we are also having more discussion about this matter, which I think now the responsibility which the Menteri Besar himself have taken the responsibility to get all parties together to talk about or to discuss further on this matter. Rachel mentioned about isn't public transport is better than highway. On a personal note, I definitely on your side. You know, I personally think as well that we should improve more, in particular the last mile. We hope that, you know, YB Anthony Loke, who is the transport minister now, he will do further. You know, I truly support on improving the public transport, and probably we need to be cheaper as well. Mr. Ernest, you mentioned about land title, PJ master plan. The land titles, I would appreciate if you can give me more details. I don't have any information of that. You mentioned about land titles of Petaling Jaya. I would appreciate if you can share the details with me, right? And my colleague here from YB Lee Chen Chong office, so that we can bring this matter to MPPJ. On the master plan, whether nullified or not, I don't have an answer now, but through our councillors we can check. And as well on the green plan, whether or not this will benefit the people or certain individual on PJD Link. I think for me, I don't want to go there yet, because we need to have much more engagement with PJD Link, with the representative of the government, so be it federal government or state government, right? And I like to assure again our stand of the Member of Parliament of Damansara. We will definitely be with the people. We will definitely be with the people on YB Gobind during the campaign period when he was named as a candidate. I can see my friend Jeffrey Pang is here from my PJ. He has made it very clear during two forums. One at the PJ, my PJ, another one is at the DUMC. He has made it very clear when it comes to issue of PJD Link highway, he will stand with the people. Actually, he himself is a resident in Petaling Jaya, and he is affected, you know, of this highway as well. So rest assured that he will keep on doing engagement with the people of Damansara and Petaling Jaya, and we will stand with you. Sure, I think it's live, you know, it's live, right? It's live streaming, and I mean, we came to Damansara to ask your vote, and we made promises. YB Gobind have made a written statement 2nd of September 2021 together with Menteri Besar and YB Isham. The statement, if you Google search, you can find, and we stand by with that particular statement. I will now invite my friend JJ to, YBD's representative first to answer a few questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Binti. Good afternoon, my name is Arif, representing PJ Lee Chen Chong. I would like to address Justin Lee's question, or Charles Pereira, regarding the approval in principle to be rescinded. Back in Parliament, MP for PJ Lee Chen Chong has raised about the matter in Parliament, asking for more details of it, but I would like to reiterate, like what Binti had said, there are only two things for them to do, that is to conduct the impact studies and so on and so forth. And in terms of approval of construction and so on and so forth, it's not that. And as for MP Lee Chen Chong's stand consistently, which has been reported in media and throughout his statements with PJD Link, some of the residents as well, he has always advocated for public transport and connectivity, first and last mile connectivity. In fact, he has publicly stated that if he's to continue, that he will continue advocating for public transportation, and that he will say no to PJD Link and that basis, and it has been reported. So, in terms of other things which has been raised up by Peter Fu, I think some of you all regarding wanting us to bring up the matter to the Prime Minister and so on and so forth, we will patiently see what the development has to offer. And at the same time, I think Harapan has also made, the party has also made a stand on this, and we will follow that stand of it for the benefit of the people as well. It's no different from what Mandip has said and what we will want to follow as well. In fact, when Chen Chong came to campaign as well, he has been consistent about his stand and what he wants to do with to have a more complete conversation with the people, try to get input on what he can do and what the conversation about PJD Link will go in the future. So I think that is all from us. If you have got any questions or objections, so on and so forth, please share it with me, and I will, or with the PJMP's office, and we'll be more than happy to answer any grouses the public may have. All right? Thank you.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon. We've had, I think, a very good 2-hour 40-minute session. Selamat tengah hari, selamat pagi pada semua yang hadir, penduduk-penduduk PJ. I guess I have a lot of things to address. First, thanks to all the presenters, Mr. James, Mr. David, Dr. Nora, Dr. Rosli Khan, Mrs. Alice and Danaraj from Kinrara, and 10 of you who gave questions and some feedback. Feedback is welcome openly. Specifically on the questions, I have to, again, I do not want to be parroting, but I have to reiterate what my friends have said. There has been no approval at all from the state government for this highway, similar to KIDEX. Our stance as early as 2014, under the then Menteri Besar, to KIDEX, some of you have rightly pointed out, a large part, 80-85%, possibly 90% of this PJD Link proposal is similar to KIDEX. On behalf of the Menteri Besar, I can reassure you that if this is the proposal submitted to the state government, it will not go ahead. That was the assurance given, and Melvin was there in the meeting on Tuesday in Parliament, along with Gobind. In this highway, as in other highways, when they have to acquire land, principal approval given by Cabinet, by the Ministry, and then they come to the state government to get permission for land acquisition. And it is in that aspect where the state can say yes or say no in this respect. And our stance, again, I have to repeat it, is still no. We have not approved it. I know the second question on your mind will be, what if the federal government approves? What can the state do? We can still oppose, we can still object on the land acquisition, which will stymie any effort from the part of those who are proposing to go ahead for the highway. I think that addresses two of the questions by Eddie as well as Sandra, if I'm not mistaken. Now, I echo the concerns which you have on transparency of the 3 reports. What happens, hypothetically speaking, if the 3 reports are submitted to the state? There are 2 other components which the developer will have to go through. One, they will have to apply for planning permission. The planning permission will be tabled to the local council because it involves MPJ, Majlis Bandaraya Petaling Jaya, and that will then go to the state as well because it affects multiple PBTs and the district of PJ. That will then go to a gazette, a public gazette, put in the local council as well as areas in the PJ, and residents will have between 30 to 60 days to analyse the final proposal, which will tally with the planning permission. So the planning permission submitted to the local council in the state has to be one and the same with the gazette, and that is when you can analyse if the focus group discussion plans which you have been engaged with are same with the planning permission, and there will be room for you to submit your feedback, comments and objections as well. So that is where residents can also play a part if they come with a proposal which then is being considered by the state government, which has not happened. On public transport, buses, I'll be one of the first to agree. Mandip has said the same thing. And in fact, the long-term plan for the state, and I'm sure most of you in this room will agree with two words, which has always been in the back of our mind since this morning. One is on connectivity, and two is mobility. Our challenge is how we achieve that. Today we have 33.3 million registered vehicles in Malaysia, more than the number of people in the country. We have 33 million people, we have 33.3 million vehicles registered. More than 35% are located in the Klang Valley. Now, in terms of the state government's position, our aim and long-term goal is how do we bridge the challenge of mobility. We spend about 250 million hours on the road, according to a recent study by the World Bank. Too much time is spent on the road for us, more so than before. But another primary challenge we have is on buses. Today, bus networks can only be done by the federal government. The state government through MBPJ, through MBSA, through MBSJ, MPK have come up with our free bus service, and we cannot charge more than 96 cents to a ringgit because legally bus operations are under the federal government. But we are now discussing, Menteri Besar is discussing with the Transport Minister Anthony Loke to allow state governments to operate buses. When that happens, I can assure you that there will be more localized bus networks, not only in regular sized buses but also in van transport to aid and further increase mobility, especially in a congested township like PJ. I think those are all the questions which I was given. Any other question I have not answered yet? Can you remind me? Yes. Oh, on Chunghua School. Chunghua Damansara, right? Kelly. Again, no proposal has been submitted to the state government yet, so I cannot for sure give you an answer right now. I can only address that question specifically if and when the proposal is submitted to the state government. That hasn't happened. But our position will be to safeguard any educational institution, and if the proposal is submitted, I can assure you on behalf of my boss that he will not allow schools, Bukit Bintang School or Chunghua School, to be affected in any way possible. Right? Anyone else? If no, I'll hand back to Melvin. Right, thank you very much everyone.
Thank you very much. I think we've come to an end, so David will be speaking from the middle.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Melvin. Sorry, just one last thing, and I'm saying it from this angle. Looking ahead, I like it symbolically. It means that I'm not part of the organizing team. I am one of the people, and indeed I am an SS2 resident. I just wish to reply to the few distinguished gentlemen, JJ, Arvin, and Mandip. I would like to put it this way. I think there's a lot of, as I mentioned just now, governance and policy issues. That is a fundamental reason why this has come about. Straight off, I'll tell you, if I were a politician, I would not, to use the words of the Menteri Besar, Dato Sri Amiruddin Syari, I would not membawa keresahan kepada penduduk. You know, this is bringing a lot of anxiety, right? And going back to what I said just now, there should be a needs studies. You should do maybe the Highway Development Network Plan 2030 has involved a traffic study. But as the state, I think you should ask LLM or the Works Ministry to divulge those studies to you, to determine that indeed there is a need for how many percent of the vehicles. As I mentioned, you count the number of cars, it's not going to get you the answer. You need the distribution pattern. I speak as an engineer who has submitted 4 traffic studies approved by JKR, MPPJ, MPAJ and MPSJ when I was very active as a consultant. Alright, you look at the next intersection, and this is where I also want to say something I've been telling everybody. To relieve a bottleneck, you don't need to enlarge the size of the water. You bring a highway, you bring a highway over Jalan Harapan. I asked the PJD Link traffic consultant, have you counted traffic on Jalan Harapan any time of the day, other than the civic design 3 lanes to 2 lanes to 1 lane exiting to the sprint, which is something I really brought up in 2012 and 13 to MPPJ as an anomaly that it should be done that way. Okay, but that road is hardly used. Agree? I mean, those who come from the hub and 5 Stones, right? Joanne, right? So you don't need to enlarge the size of a whole water in order to relieve the bottlenecks. You identify where the bottlenecks are and you address those bottlenecks. Right? So the whole governance and policy and also enforcement is flawed, the way I look at it as an engineer. And I think the state, right from the front, especially noting you have cancelled events on 16 February 2015. One of the reasons is no EIA, TIA or SIA was submitted. And now the status quo remains the same. So how can MTS go and approve on the 3rd of September 2020 and membawa keresahan kepada banyak penduduk? If I were you as a politician, I wouldn't do this. You're losing votes. And it's a matter of time, people like me will spread this message around, and more people are going to understand what you are not doing right. You know, I don't belong to any political party, neither am I politically inclined. But as I said, we want to take ownership, we want to know how our city would develop in the right way. Not only for me, I'm very old already, for my children, for my children's children. I'm sure all of us feel that way. Alright, so go back to the drawing table, and those of you, JJ, you were present at the meeting with MB on Tuesday afternoon. I think YB William Leong to say the Transport Ministry doesn't talk to the Works Ministry. Right? When we met Amrish on Thursday night, 2 nights ago, we found out he's trying to use his word, optimize the design. So he's in a very fluid state. He's trying to morph. To me, he's trying to sharpen the square peg and squeeze it through the round hole. Okay? And he was trying to meander some of these roads at the ending part near Sprint, near to 10 Boulevard and going back to the Damansara toll. He is, for southbound, he's trying to get close to the LRT. He actually got to go on the right of the piers, and then he has to meander to the left, and then he comes back to the right again. And he was trying to take away that, just now I mentioned that very controversial turning SS22/43 where the Damansara Jaya School is. After hearing all the complaints, all the criticisms, they're trying to take away that ramp and replace something else. So at that point, they're trying to do it on grade, and they're running into the green belt in front of somebody's compound, and some residents reminded them that has been approved by NPPJ to have a condominium. So you see the disconnect is not only between Transport Ministry and Works Ministry, it's also from the MPPJ, the local council, who keeps on approving projects, You know, one of the earlier options, the southbound was supposed to go down Jalan Professor Kuke Kim, the northbound was in the Sungai Penchala. And the joining point was actually between the Quill 9 and the Quill 9 Annex. I'm sure when they were designing that, PJD Link was designing, Quill 9 Annex hasn't come out. But now it is out, they cannot even squeeze between the 2 buildings. You know, so you've got disconnects all over, the system is all wrong. If you allow residents like me who don't even charge you a fee, I'm just a big mouth offering my expertise, come lah, engage me lah, I don't charge you anything, everything pro bono, I will try and give you all some feedback, okay? And that concludes this feedback thing concludes my answers to you. The other thing about the top-down policy is very bad. I think right from the start, a project like that, all right? I told Amrish, this one last example I want to say. I say you're a businessman, I understand. When you do business, you do your ROI studies, you do your cost-benefit analysis, you know.
I say in this case, your perceived benefits is your toll charges, your extremely high and unaccountable profits because it's a private finance initiative, right? But on the other hand, the perceived cost includes the pain and suffering of the people. He must not discount that. You know, so this top-down policy from the government, MTES approving, putting everybody in anxiety, no, don't do that. As politicians, as the clean party with our PM10 always talking about, you know, clean governance, and I 101% agree with him that it should be done that way, okay? But do it the right way. Yeah, okay, thanks. Okay, thank you.
I really have to reiterate that I don't know how else to make it clear. But MTES has not approved the traffic impact assessment, the environmental impact assessment, or the social impact assessment. That I think has to be corrected. Because for one sole fact, that has not been tabled to the state government. As opposed to 2015, maybe I will share why the change in policy procedure. Prior to 2018, any project approval will be tabled to the MTES. MTES is the State Economic Planning Council, Majlis Tindakan Ekonomi Selangor. Prior to 2018, a project would be approved and then they will have to go through the TIA, EIA and SIA. When we object to the TIA, EIA or SIA or all three, after having approved the project, we realized that we went into a lot of legal challenges through project developers. In 2018, we decided anyone who wants to come and table a proposal to the state government for a project in this nature or similar, before getting approval for the project in principle, you have to first undergo the TIA, EIA and SIA. At the same time, conduct engagements with stakeholders on the project proposal itself. So before the project is tabled, they have to now first table the traffic impact assessment report, the environmental and social impact assessment. What MTES did in February 2022 last year was to allow for them to begin the process to study the TIA, the SIA and the EIA. That does not mean we have approved either one or all three of it, because nothing has been tabled to the state government. That's the first thing I have to correct, David. But thank you for raising, because it's given me an opportunity to explain in more detail. The second thing which you can, I think, and I will advise and encourage all of you to play a role, under Selangor we have the Freedom of Information Enactment. You can use the provisions under that enactment to request more information from the state government when all these three reports are tabled and the project proposal is tabled. That's the first thing. The second thing. And the final one is, the federal government is also in the process of enacting a Freedom of Information Act. It is undergoing a drafting process. I cannot speak on behalf of the federal government, but I can share the information with you. And that will allow residents like yourself and other stakeholders to acquire information, including declassification of documents, and a number of the provisions under the Official Secrets Act will be removed in favor to allow the Freedom of Information Act to come into place. So that's another avenue for residents to not only get information from the state government, but the federal government in this matter as well. Thank you.
Thank you, David. So we have come to the end of this town hall. We thank you very much for coming for we said we will finish at 12 and it finishes 1, so we thank you very much for your patience, for everyone that came here. Even Jeffrey, I think we need a recording from you later. Okay. And everyone else that has left, and those that are watching online, those that want to submit any questions, you can submit to us. We will then pass it on to the representative. Thank you very much for coming, and we will start with the press conference now. Thank you very much. I don't know anything.